Hello, good morning, everyone. Have a pleasant morning to all. I am Roger G. Bangalando, together with my group mates, Asha Concepcion Laila, Rico Sharami, and Sohot Antonio. And we are from Group 1. So for today's presentation topic, we are assigned to tackle about the differentiation of moral and non-moral standards. So without further ado, let's get started. Moral and non-moral standards. We almost know that in our society we have general and specific rules that controls the human behavior. Morality may refer to the standards that a person or group has about what is right and wrong or good and evil. Accordingly, moral standards are those concerned with or relating to human behavior, especially the distinction between good and bad or right and wrong behavior. Before we proceed about what is differentiation of moral and non-moral standards, let us watch this video first that shows the examples of moral and non-moral standards. So the video shown to us is pinakita sa unang part na yung dalawang malaking animals ay nagpapakita ito ng non-moral standards. Dahil sa pagkakainitan nitong dalawa, nagkaroon ito ng problema sa bawat isa dahil wala silang pagpaparaya sa isa't isa. And the other hand, which is the two little animals, signifies the moral standards where they follow the general rules of all sa pamamagitan at pagpapakita ng pagbibigayan ng breed sa isa't isa para makatawid sa kabilang. So moral standards. Moral standards refers to the norms which we have about the types of actions which we believe to be morally acceptable and morally unacceptable. Specifically, it deals with matters which can either seriously harm or benefit human beings. The validity of moral standards comes from the line of reasoning that was taken to back or support them, and those are not able to be formed or changed by particular bodies of authority. Some ethicists equate moral standards with moral values and moral principles. In other words, it is a moral standards. It is a belief of right and wrong action that is good to all, and it is also a belief or rules that everyone obeys it, such like killing and stealing is prohibited. Meanwhile, non-moral standards refers to the rules that are unrelated to moral or ethical considerations. Basic examples of non-moral standards include rules of etiquette, fashion standards, rules in games, and various house rules. Technically, religious rules, some traditions, and legal statutes are non-moral principles, though they can be ethically relevant depending on some factors and context. In other words, non-moral standards is a belief or code of conduct that is right and wrong in a certain group of individuals or group of people. Non-moral standards is usually unrelated to moral standards. These are six characteristics of moral standards that can differentiate further from non-moral standards.
Moral standards involve serious wrongs or significant benefits. Moral standards deal with matters which can seriously injure or benefit human being. Example neto, yung example is, gaya ng nakalagay dito sa handout natin, yung example is, um, wait, following or violating some basketball rules may matter in basketball game but does not necessarily affect one's life or well-being. Parang yung ano dito na yung anong tawag dito? Yung serious wrong dito, parang hindi naman siya makaka-affect sa atin. Parang 'di ba nga gaya ng example yung sa basketball, parang sundin mo man yung rules nung basketball game, ayun, sundin mo man yung rules niya, hindi sundin or labagin mo man siya, hindi naman siya makakaapekto sa buhay mo o sa kapakanan ng ibang tao or ng isang tao, ayun.
Next, moral standard ought to be preferred to other values. So, ang ibig sabihin na may i-overlap na siya na value. If a moral standard states that a person has a moral obligation to do something, then he or she must supposed to do that even if it conflicts with non-moral standard or even if it's self-interested. So, sinasabi lang diyan na kung meron kang moral obligation to do something o kaya sa trabaho or work to do something, kailangan mo pa rin yun sundin kahit na nagko-conflict siya sa non-moral standard o sa moral interest mo. Yun. Then next is moral standard are not established by authority figures. So by this means that is it that it is not invented or formed by authori- authoritative body or legislative bodies. Instead, this value ought to be considered in a process of making law. Moral standard cannot be changed nor put by the decision of particular authoritative body. Yun. Next.
Next is moral standard have the traits of universalizability. Ayun. Parang ang ano dito is, it means that everyone should live up to moral standard. Ang example is, do not others what you will them to unto you. So, di ba, sino bang gugustuhin na parang pag ayaw mong gawin sa'yo, so wag mong gagawin sa iba. Kailangan maging universal ka, kailangan maging patas ka. So, yun. Next.
The next topic is moral standard are based on impartial consideration. So, ibig sabihin nito na ang isang tao daw or kahit sino sa atin ay hindi dapat maging bias or may pagkiling sa paggawa ng isang desisyon. Halimbawa, ang isang judge sa korte ay hindi dapat humatol batay sa pagkakaibigan or batay sa kung magkano ang kang ibayad sa kanya na kabilang panig. Dapat magdesisyon siya according sa kung ano at sino ang tama. Kapag ito ay ginawa niya at pumani siya sa mali, ang kanyang paghahatol ay magiging may kinikilingan or bias. The next is moral standards are associated with special emotion and vocabulary. So, ang prescriptivity, ito yung when an evaluate, judgment, or decision is made, it must either prescribe or condemn. Ito ay nagpapahiwatig ng practical or action guiding nature na katangian ng mga pamantayang moral. Ang mga pamantayang moral na ito ay karaniwang inilalagay bilang injunction o imperatives. Halimbawa ng mga ito ay huwag pumatay, huwag kang gumawa ng kinakailangang pinsala at mahalin ang iyong kapwa. Ang mga prinsipyong ito ay binuo para gamitin, para payuhan at makaimpluwensya sa pagkilos. Retroactively, ginagamit ang feature na ito upang suriin ang pag-uugali ng tao, pumuri at manisi, at upang makabuo ng mga damdamin ng kasiyahan o pagkakasala.
Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time to listen with us for today's presentation. That will be the end of our presentation. Hope you learned a lot. Again, we are Group 1. We thank you and have a good day to all of you.